Back on TYT Sports with more recap of the Week 6 of the NFL. In the Turks segment, you could check out such tantalizing games and matchup coverage, such as the Browns versus the Titans and the 49ers versus the Bills. That's in the top right corner. But there's some important things that we shed light on in those clips. As for jerks, Francis on the end, would you like to start us off?
Yes, even though his raw numbers weren't as bad as some of the other quarterbacks, I think Aaron Rodgers this week, right, undoubtedly not his best, but it's not because, again, his stats, when you compare them to some of the other quarterbacks in the league, as I was mentioning in the article, Trevor Siemian, Carson Wentz, but it's the fact that he had so much time. Like it's not like he was under so much pressure to the point that he had to throw his interceptions or he was fumbled twice, but he just wants, he thinks that the game's running in slow motion at times. And this is a guy, at the start of the season, people are saying he's the best quarterback in the league. I still believe it's Tom Brady, but still to the point that he's coming in, expected to lead this Packers up against an informed Cowboys team. You're expecting him to at least take it to the level that you're not criticizing as much of his offensive line, but his offensive line was granting him so much time. Did you hear that whistle? That was huge. His offensive line was granting him the time to use his best asset, which is his passing ability, and he's still.
What I don't get with Aaron Rodgers is it looks like, and this is just from watching. For one, I've been saying fire Mike McCarthy for 3 years at least. Like, that guy is incompetent. On top of Mike McCarthy, fire Dom Capers. He's been their defensive coordinator for so damn long, and nothing is working with them on the defensive end. I would always come to the back of Aaron Rodgers up until this season, because in the past it looked like it was a coaching issue. In the past it looked like it was only the defense that kept allowing the points. But this year, if you watch back the tape of these 6 games that he's played, maybe 5 if they had a bye week, he is overdoing everything. It looks like he hikes that ball, he steps back, take a 3-step drop, or if he's in the shotgun, and abandons the game plan. Yeah. He has Jordy Nelson back. His receivers are healthy. He's got his tight ends, who obviously are not the best blocking tight ends in the game, but they still, like Richard Rodgers, I don't know what he's doing half the time.
So when it comes to things like this, the first thing, I didn't watch this game as much as in depth, but when I saw some of those plays, when I'd flip around and get to it, I was like, so what's going on? These are, in those sacks or those picks happen, these are coverage sacks, you know? So you look up, you go, there's nowhere to go. He's like, forget, I'm going to throw it this time and try it again. And he takes off and just throws some bad passes. So I wonder, again, it goes back to game plan. It goes back to play calling and things like that, of what you want to do to get things open. I've said it many times, and this is no knock to them. I have other things to knock them on. But the Patriots adjust and they adapt to situations. That's why they had success with the backup and then an extra backup quarterback.
Yep.
Some success with the third string. And because they adapt their game to what fits what's happening. If you guys can't get open downfield, maybe fly someone out of the backfield.
Bring it shorter.
A quick little slant pass. Things like that. Use other things to get things done.
Yeah.
It seems like they're not doing it.
Aaron Rodgers might be a jerk. I think Francis is right. He's a jerk. Are you a jerk? Who's your jerk?
Aaron Rodgers is a jerk?
Oh, I know you're a jerk because you emailed it to me. It's also on the, well, it has to do with the guy in the green.
I'm a player apologist is what I've been called many times.
I've been called worse.
I'm a Kobe apologist. I'm
So,
a
I mean,
LeBron apologist. It goes for days.
And this is even a head nod to you, Jason. So the thing is I'm not a Giants fan. I'm not an Odell Beckham Jr. fan. He's an amazing wide receiver. But what I keep hearing, first off, my jerk is analysts, broadcasters, play-by-play guys who keep wanting to tell people surrounding Odell Beckham Jr. Someone needs to talk to this guy. Someone's got to talk to this guy. Someone's got to calm him down. Someone's got to tell him not to be him. Someone's got to tell him he's a wide receiver. There's a certain mentality that comes with wide receivers. We know that. It's one of those things where their livelihood is based on someone getting them the ball. So when they say, give me the ball, it's like, oh, what an asshole. Well, how else is he going to get it, number one? So I get it. And it sometimes comes off brash and it's annoying. If I'm his teammate, I'm probably annoyed with him too. But what happens if you try to bring this guy down and make him who he is not, and be like, calm down, Odell, calm down. Then they can be like, where's Odell Beckham's step gone? Why is he moving a step slower? Why is he so calm? There's no fire in his eyes. This is a big game. It's always going to be some kind of complaint about who he is. If you calm him down, you're going to be mad that you calm him down. But I am against the net celebration. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, to me, it's just a little bit, like, I think, here's the way to sum up Odell Beckham Jr. He's weird. Like, that's it. He's a weird guy, and that's fine, by the way. He can be as weird as he wants. But, like, he obviously he obviously sees what the media is saying about him. And the only thing I can think of is, if you're Odell Beckham Jr., stop being so in tune to what we criticize you for.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I'm not one, like,
because
he proposes to the kicking net, and he makes out with the kicking net, and he's sleeping with the kicking net, and he probably brought it home with him. However, to play off your point, yes, receivers to a certain extent should be selfish. Like, you don't hear Julio Jones talking out against how many targets he's getting, because he's getting 12 targets, 13, 14, 15 targets a game, because the Falcons' game plan, who I praised in the Turks clip, knows we have one of the best receivers in the league. It looks like Ben McAdoo figured out this crazy idea. Let's hit Odell Beckham mid-stride. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Let's air it out 75 yards for a touchdown. Let's air it out 66 yards for a touchdown. He had 222 receiving yards.
8 receptions,
career
222 and 2 touchdowns.
I'm telling you, man. He's the reason they won the game.
I don't want to calm him down.
And the Giants' defense had a goal line stand,
If he was
too.
silent because no one was throwing to him, like what? In any sport, you're a striker in football, my football, and you don't get the ball and you can't score, you're going to be pissed. If you're an amazing shooter on the NBA, you can shoot 3 points and you don't get, you're open quite a lot and you don't get it, you're going to be pissed. It's just the fact that the media is fascinated with any sort of conflict. And I think that goes further than just the media. I didn't like a couple of weeks back, me and Jason spoke about this in a clip, that Eli Manning was admitting to a problem with Odell Beckham Jr. He's like, yeah, well, I think we just really need to talk to him, his attitude and things like that. You don't even say anything, just be like, no, we'll fix it internally. It's fine. Like, maybe there's a conflict there. Every team needs these personalities. That's like Steph Curry would come out and went, yeah, Draymond's a little aggressive. He needs to stop grabbing people and kicking people by the nuts. No, you don't say it. You don't let anyone else know that you're aware of this, because as soon as you do, the media's won. They've won by trying to bring light to an issue that's affecting your team in our camp. Just let it deflect and let it go away, because when you get the guy the ball, look what happens.
Yeah. So playing off that for a quick second, I love the idea of handling things internally. In college, when I was part of student organizations, which I'm sure all of you guys were, that was our go-to. If we were going to get in trouble with anything, it was like, no, we can handle this internally. Yeah. And what people think that means is like Full Metal Jacket, we're going to fill pillowcases with bars of soap, and we're just going to beat the crap out of Odell Beckham Jr. No, that's not what it usually means. But I do like, and by the way, the organizations that continuously win, and the Ravens organization in the past has handled their nightmares.
Yeah, because Ray Lewis is just going to be handling it himself.
You had problem players, and Ray Lewis, who was one of the best middle linebackers you've ever seen, was constantly in headlines for some shady doings. However, they suppressed it. The Ravens organization suppressed it. And you have to give credit to the organizations like the Patriots when they ask them the most probing questions of all time. Like, Tom Brady, what do you think of Donald Trump? And he goes, thank you guys, I'll see you tomorrow. And just walks off. So the Giants organization needed to get everything together and organized, but now that Odell's playing well, they're going to say, no, we talked to him, it all worked out. Next week, they could be back in the same position if he only has 2 receptions for 15 yards.
Kicking net's going to get hit again.
And the kicking net's going to be, there's going to be a second divorce, it's going to be ugly, there's going to be
an
alimony
up and down
paid.
relationship.
It's going to get ugly at some point. For my jerk, it's the Falcons and the Seahawks game, so I wanted to talk about this screenshot. I can't run the play for you, but I can leave the highlight. That is a clear indication of pass interference, Richard Sherman.
Man, the Falcons receiver was obviously pushing off.
Right. So one of the things I've been watching, at least with the NFL this season, is it seems like, and I do not ever blame the refs for a loss. If that was called pass interference, you don't know what happens with those extra 30 yards. Do the Falcons get an extra field goal? Do they score a touchdown? Do they throw an interception? It wasn't like it was a pass interference in the end zone, right? So I'm not blaming the refs, but the refs are the jerks, okay? Because that was a clear pass interference call that they just missed. And the problem I have with it, too, is that, Dan Quinn saw it, and usually the reactions of coaches are always overdramatic when they think there's pass interference. But that one, you're watching it. You're watching in slow motion. It was in Seattle, too, so that had a big effect on it. The crowd got silent on the replay. Even the crowd acknowledged, too, oh, we got lucky there. And that's another indicator that they messed up. But that game, it allowed Russell Wilson to get the ball back for his 20th comeback, for his 20th game-winning fourth quarter drive and OT as a Seattle Seahawk. And I can never put it. Hauschka? I like Hauschka. It's nicer.
Go with it, man.
Hits the 44-yard field goal with 1:57 left to cap off the victory. The Seahawks and the Falcons are 2 very, very good football teams this year. Actually, the Seahawks defense is almost neck and neck numbers-wise, save for turnovers per game, as their defense was in 2013. Yeah. However, that's not good defense. Richard Sherman making a very boneheaded play, but he got lucky. And usually,
it wasn't boneheaded,
and
man.
usually,
It was smart.
well, in this case, yeah. But by the way, but it also proves one more thing that I don't think coaches seem to ever understand. If I'm a coach and it's the fourth quarter and there's 4, 5, 6 minutes left, you need to score on this drive, you need to pad the lead, whatever it might be. Just keep taking shots downfield like that, because there's a good chance, even though it didn't get called there, you're going to get a free. You're going to get a free 40 yards. And I've always thought the worst thing that happens, especially if you have a lead, is if you give the ball back with that much time, you're giving it down the field 50, 60 yards if they pick it off. True. Most of the time. Most of the time. It's not like I mean, if it's a bad throw, if it's underthrown, they can run it back. I get the danger of it. But air it out more. They're going to get pulled down like that, and they're not going to miss that call every time.
It was almost like a veteran move. Like, as he's pulling one arm down, he has the other hand up like he's contesting.
Yeah, I love the terminology, too. It's like if it's Sherman, by the way, it's a veteran move. If it's Eli Apple, rookie for the Giants, that's a boneheaded.
Absolutely. That's the way
you got to adjust to the NFL more.
Yeah, they do it in so many sports. And also, in the post-game interview, did you see the way Sherman responded to the direct question about?
No, did you see? I didn't see it, actually.
He said, "There's pass interference on so many plays in the NFL. I mean, sometimes sometimes the things happen." When they asked specifically about he'd point out how the game was filled with so many potential penalties. And he said, "So what about that one?" They had to nail him into it.
Veteran answer?
And he said, "No." I mean, quickly. It was like, as soon as they said, "What about yours?" No.
Oh, I would love it if he said, "Yeah, you know what? I pulled Julio's arm down, but like it's good. I talked to him after the game. We're friends now. We're gonna go out get some beers." The 12 stand up. That was one of the more exciting games of the weekend. The only other one to mention is the Saints and the Panthers are bad football teams this year, and I don't know what to think or say about them. Those teams, their defenses are, I don't know what happened. And Cam Newton's play though, he did have an amazing touchdown pass. I mean, just the sheer strength to get that ball into the back of the end zone, I thought was amazing.
He's still not good enough to make it back into my
Neither
football team.
Oh, he's not?
No.
You're going to start Mariota?
I'm going to keep Mariota in there. He deserves it.
So he's a jerk.
Worked hard.
You're
I gave him a call and I
Cam.
let him know. Well, he's been benched
You know
since
that's
he was
why
out.
he walked out of the press conference yesterday.
Yeah, he's like
He
Francis
said-
Maxwell.
He looks and he goes, "I've been benched by Francis Maxwell."
I could not drop any lower to a guy whose first time fantasy football league and TYT Sports dropped me out.
Fair enough. Comment below, like, favorite, subscribe to the channel. Everybody's Twitters, Instagrams, Snapchats are on the description box below. Leave your worst of the NFL Week 6 in the comment section. We'll see you next time.